Dear IGF members, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are all safe and well. It is my honor and privilege to be part of the second opening consultations and contribute to the briefings on behalf of the African Union. As you are certainly aware of, the EU Commission has taken the lead not only to serve as the Secretariat for the African IGF, but also it has initiated a vast capacity building program on internet governance. Under the auspices of the African Union, the IGF processes is being implemented in Africa at national, regional, and continental levels, linking all stakeholders to discuss issues pertaining to the internet, reflecting the need of our respective communities. These African processes, managed and supported by the EU Commission, facilitates exchange of experiences and ideas between stakeholders from the same geographic spaces and contribute to the better engagement with internet governance forums communities worldwide. We have always made sure that this is an inclusive representation and diversity with different stakeholders such as policymakers from government, engineers, industrialists, academia, activities, and civil societies. By the way, we have seen more and more African leaders at the highest levels, head of states, being interested on the matters related to Internet Governance Forum. And this is because of two major resolutions the African Union organ have made it possible. The first one is related to the resolution of the fourth Ministerial Conference of Ministers in charge of ICTs in 2012 that states, and I quote, to support the establishment of national IGF to create dialogue between all stakeholders on ICT for the development issues and facilitate the country's participation in the regional and African IGF processes as well as in the global IGF. The second one is related to the African Union Declaration that is for the first time has been developed from bottom-up processes. And it took 3 years really to bring it to the attention of the head of states. This declaration, among other things, has said, and I quote, requested the African Union, Commission, NEPAD, United Nations Economic Commission to increase the participation of member states, specialized institutions, and so on in the internet governance discussion and related public policy processes, included but not limited to those taking place in the UN, AU, ICANN, ITF, AFRINIC, and so on. Now, with regard to our activities at the national level, the IGF African processes addresses specific issues arising from the need of different stakeholders in the country itself. Currently, there are 31 operational national IGFs and many more are being processed or are in formation with several emerging certainly this year. 2020 was expected really to be the year of peak enrollment of new national IGFs with support of the Policy and Regulation Initiative for Digital Africa, PRIDA, which is the new project funded by the European Union. However, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many countries are not in the position to organize face-to-face meetings, and now we are making preparation to organize virtual IGFs with the technical support from this important project, which is PRIDA. At the level of the 5 AU regional geographic regions, we have put in place IGF forums under the leadership of the regional economic communities such as UMA, ECOWAS, ECAS, AC, and SADC, in order to consolidate national initiatives and create a unique space and a unified voice where policy and technical internet issues of countries of the region can be discussed. All of them had planned to organize their annual conferences in 2020, but due to the pandemics, we only have confirmation for the West African region. At the continental level, we still, as I mentioned at the beginning, running the Secretariat of the African IGF in collaboration with the United Nations Economic Communities, NAPAD, and so on. Just to remind you that the African IGF has been created in 2011 in the margin of the global IGF in Kenya in 2011. The African IGF's operations are governed by an African IGF charter that we have developed in multi-stakeholder processes, and we have created also our own African advisory group, which is AFIGF-MAG, and we are holding every year meetings. Since 2012, the meetings are coming, and the eighth African IGF took place in 2019 in Jamena. The next one is expected to be in Lagos, Nigeria this year. But without waiting for surprises coming due to the pandemic, we already have developed a toolkit for the organization of the virtual Internet Governance Forums conference in Africa, and we hope that in case of, we'll be able to organize this conference virtually. Now, I couldn't conclude without really mentioning the PRIDA project, which is actually the policy and regulation initiatives for Digital Africa that is really created to support and build the capacity for Africans in the matter related to internet governance. The project is funded by the European Union, and so far we have organized several workshops. We have trained trainers to be able to train as much as people within the continent in matters related to internet governance. In collaboration with Duplo Foundation, we have developed several manuals on how to set up and to create the international IGFs, and many other training that has been taken place within the context of national, regional, and global continental IGFs. I wouldn't conclude here without really mentioning the fact that the African Union just adopted the digital transformation strategy for 2020-2030 to transform all the development sectors using digital technology, which pose the issue of the digital collaboration, digital cooperation, and specifically the policing and the matter related to privacy, security, and all those matters that really are pertain to the matters related to the internet governance. In summary, I would just want to emphasize two things. One is this: the AUC still and will continue to take the leadership on matters related to Internet Governance Forum at the regional, national, and continental levels, and that bearing in mind the recommendation of the UN Secretary General report on the digital cooperation. We look forward for enhanced IGF processes that will really make an impact on the ground. And finally, I will want to assure you that the AUC will be glad to support all those processes and make the Africa really playing its role in the global discussion related to matters of internet governance. With that, I log off here and thank you very much for your kind attention, and I hope you will be keeping yourself safe and your loved ones safe also. Thank you very much.